We are live again. I am so excited to have everyone here. Again, I am Mani Amandla, and welcome to Total Life Wellness. I have an extremely special guest with me tonight, Miss Jennevieve JJ Joshua, who has been extremely instrumental in helping me in my spiritual walk, in helping me just with guidance, especially during life's biggest transitions. And today, JJ is going to be here to help us finish strong, finish very, very strong with 2020 with conscious completions. JJ, do you want to say hi to everyone before I continue on?
Hey, everybody. I'm so happy to be with you here at this very special time of year and with you, Mani. Thanks for having me on. We're going to have a blast here. This is fun stuff tonight.
We are. It's going to be so much fun. So, I was going to read JJ's bio, everyone, but I wanted to, and I was telling her that I wanted to really speak from the heart just for a moment before I introduce her. I see Juanita's here. Hi, Juanita. Hi, Joan. And hi, everyone else who's watching. JJ really came into my life in a really special time. I think that, we talked about, about the traumas and things like that. Because I remember typing up, going through a divorce and, moving, up from the Midwest all the way to the West Coast and, experiencing a robbery, experiencing the shooting and all of these, really wild things that we really needed JJ's help and insight for. And she just was so instrumental in helping me give spiritual insight and perspective that I needed to help me move from the stuck space and the space of where I was feeling a little irritable and even some anger, to be honest with you, and to being able to see things as they really are from a most beautiful spiritual perspective. And so it's been my honor to work with her, and I've recommended her to others who have needed insight for their life. And if you go to her site, and we'll talk about that, JJ for Insight, it means just that. You go to JJ for Insight. That's what you do. And so without further ado, I want to welcome the woman who has helped me through so many life transitions and who is here to help all of you through the conscious completion of 2020, Ms. Jennevieve JJ Joshua.
Thank you, Mani. And I just want to share, everybody, I have a kind of a formal presentation here. So I'm going to be looking at my notes, even though I've been doing this particular teaching for 24 years, just because there's so much and I don't want to miss out on anything. But every now and then we'll just stop and have some questions come in. This topic is how to finish 2020 strong and how to integrate into your life a beautiful practice called conscious completions. So as Mani said, my website is jj4insight.com. Well, we want to be able to glean from our own lives great insights and also freedom. 2020, guys, you think we might want to lighten up a little bit from this year, let go of this year. So this topic, conscious completions, is literally all about letting go. Now, Mani, have you noticed that humans are not like super good at letting go?
None of us are super good at letting go. As a matter of fact, we do the replay in our minds over and over and over again.
And we hang on to stuff. I mean, look at the storage units around America.
Good point.
This is masterful letting go. But as Mani will tell you, my coaching is all about, yes, it's mystical, it's marvelous, it's insightful, but it's also very practical. One of my shaman teachers once says, if it doesn't grow corn, what good is it? So we're going to be practical with rather a mystical experience called letting go or conscious completions. And we're going to cover the what and the why and the how of it. So when you're finished today, you're going to have absolutely in your gestalt how to do this. And Mani, will they have access to the handout on your site?
They will have access to the handout. Some of them will see it now. Some of them will see it later. So not everyone across the board will be able to see it.
Right now. Okay.
Right now. But they will have access.
It will be available to anybody who sees this. And it's a gorgeous handout, you guys, full of details, 6 pages long, full color. So you're going to get from the handout all the details so you can just kind of enjoy. So I've been teaching intentional living for 24 years. So, Monty, let's start with an intention. Arms up in the air, everybody who can with me, and just say, I choose to receive and allow.
I choose to receive and allow
Maximum benefit.
Maximum benefit.
From this little seminar and fun time.
From this seminar and fun time.
And from completions.
And from completions.
And now hands on your heart.
Okay.
Taking a deep breath. So we've just kind of activated intention, which gets all 4 levels of ourselves working: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. That's why I wanted your hands up. And what we've actually done is we've uploaded some dopamine. And just by doing that, and dopamine makes us smarter, faster learners, and it's more fun. So we're going to cover the what, the why, and the how. What is it? It is essentially letting go. It's the practice of completing and letting go physical, emotional, mental things in your life as you live your life, and even in the past, going in the past, so that you can be free. The benefits of this are so great, Monty. Monty, have you ever done any backpacking or had to track through Europe or something carrying a backpack?
I have definitely had to carry a backpack. It wasn't in Europe, though.
Well, wherever it was. And remember that exquisite feeling of taking it off?
Yes.
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 That's what conscious completions does to our subconscious mind and our life. It's like, oh, so why do we want to do this? It teaches you how to live in the now. The now is where our power is. Our now is not back there in the past or in the future. It's right now. So it is a mindfulness tool that teaches us how to live in, at least in this day, in the now, very simply and very easily. And it trains you to let go. So it's a training process for your subconscious mind. And it increases, this is my favorite thing, the intentionality of your whole life. It strengthens you by doing this process. And we'll talk about when and how a little bit later. It also increases creativity, and it's fun. So I want to tell you a story of a client of mine. Her name was Jessica, and she had a kind of a miraculous experience with the completion process. And she was 29 years old. She was leaving New York City, which is where she'd gone to school and started her career. And she loved New York, and she loved this particular park. And she was moving her whole life to Austin, Texas, and she called me frantic, like 5 days before she had to move, Mommy. You know what the list is like when you have to move, right?
Yes, so many things to do.
She says, I'm stuck. I can't make myself do anything. I don't want to leave New York. I said, well, is it possible for you to change your mind? She says, no. I said, okay. So I had her go to her favorite park. She hung up and went right away. And I guided her through a conscious completion process of her calling back her spirit, her physical spirit, emotional, mental, and spiritual and emotional spirit from that park as kind of like a representation of her whole experience in New York. And I was guiding her through this thing, and she's in a little bench on the park. And I only got about 2 minutes into the guided meditation. And she goes, oh my gosh, I can feel it. I can totally feel it. Oh my God.
She could feel her spirit coming back to her?
She could feel it. She could feel that she was letting New York go, and her energy was returning to her, because it's not a good thing to be in Austin, but your energy in New York. Not a good thing, right? You want to be where you are. And so I said, okay, I want you to call me every hour, get back to your apartment, start packing, call me every hour. And after 2 hours, she says, I don't need to call you. I'm totally on a roll. I've got this. I'm so excited. So it frees you up to be very creative and more responsible in the moment. The benefits are really so many. It heals you. It uplifts you, and it also makes you feel just kind of strong and empowered, because you're in the moment where your strength is. Conscious completions are a mindfulness practice, but what they really are, you guys, is a radical act of self-love. It's really important for you to love yourself, and by letting go, it's like really important. So this is what it's based on, Monty. This is the, do we have any questions coming up yet?
We just have people saying that I'm loving this. Can't wait for the handout. It's being uploaded now.
Okay.
I just sent that to Chema. Chema, I have sent that to you. Check your email, and it is the third attachment.
All right, great. Thanks, Bonnie. So this is really important. There's two.
Someone saying that we have no sound. Just one moment, JJ. Can everyone hear us okay? Somebody please let us know, because I don't want to do this whole thing and we can't be heard. So let us know if you can hear us, because sometimes it's an isolated thing with one person and sometimes nobody can hear us.
Well, somebody said they were loving it, so somebody should be
okay.
Have heard it, right?
Well, sometimes the sound goes away. So
okay.
Everyone's saying perfect sound. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please continue.
Okay. Good sound check there.
Thank you.
The basics. Again, we call upon the technology gods to be with us here. So this is really important, guys. The two functional life principles that make conscious completions work. Okay. This is the foundation that makes it work. Two principles. Everything that has ever happened in the only way it could have. Yeah.
Deep breath on
everything
that one.
Throughout all of human history and everything you did today happened the only way it could have. And what is the proof of that? We cannot argue that is the way it happened. It didn't happen another way. That's literally it. So if we start to integrate these two principles in all aspects of our life, it really helps you let go a lot faster, helps you forgive. It helps you, be kinder to yourself. So principle number one, everything that's ever happened in the only way it could have. Second principle, even though it may not seem like it at times, it is absolutely a fact that everyone, you included, did the best you could with what you knew and had available to you at the time. Everything happened in the only way it could have, and you and all involved did the best they could with what they knew. That's what makes this work. All right, so one of the benefits of doing this is to clear your subconscious mind. I'm going to give you a visual, you guys. I'm going to put this right up in front of the camera. So, excuse me, Monty. This is a picture of your subconscious, unconscious, and conscious mind. Can you see that okay, Monty?
Mm-hmm.
So look at that, you guys. Tiny little bit above the surface is our conscious mind. But look at all that stuff below the water. All that below the water, you guys, is what's really driving our lives. We think it's our conscious mind, but it's not. It is what's below the water. So the spiritual practice actually with conscious completion is to bring this up from the bottom of your subconscious mind up into the light where it can be forgiven, let go, released, and it's no longer driving you as an unconscious pattern that can sometimes sabotage us. So how do you do conscious completions? It's going to be very simple. I'll teach you the whole thing, but the most important thing is attitude. You know how, Monty, attitude is everything? Absolutely. And you are one of the most powerfully positive people I've ever known. And you talked about what you've been through, Monty. I know a lot about what you've been through. And you could not have survived had you not been willing and kept your mind focused. That's our responsibility, you guys. What we do up here with our thoughts. Our life is made up of our thoughts and our intentions. And so if your attitude is to be resolute, I am going to let this sucker go. I'm just going to let it go. And I'm going to put it down and be focused and willing. So I'm going to give you a little visual on the willingness. The willingness to be resolute, focused, and just really let it go. So you can kind of mouth it. But if you really mean something, you know the difference. That's what matters. Like Jessica in the park that day. So there's two ways to do conscious completions. Should we take a pause here, Monty, or just keep on going?
Let's keep going.
Okay. So there's the no frills way, which I'm going to teach you tonight, which is 5 minutes or less that I recommend. You can start doing it tonight before you go to bed. So you want to hook this habit. It's a new habit. You want to hook it to something you're already doing. So Monty, what's something that you usually do before you go to bed at night? What's one thing that you always do without fail? Brush your teeth?
Yes, that's one of the things that I do without
Brushing
fail.
your teeth. Okay.
Yes.
So you can just put a little sign next to your toothbrush and you can say conscious completions to remind yourself to do it. So there's the 5-minute completion for the day. So here we are at the end of 2020. What a year, you guys. Let's just take in a deep breath about that.
Oh,
2020.
The 2020 deep breath.
Yes, deep.
Collectively,
breath.
you all.
We are letting you go, 2020, right now together. Right. We're just going to we all did the best we could. The governments did the best they could. The politics did the best they could. And everything happened in the only way it could have. Really. It just did. So we might as well say thank you very much. And here we are. Winter solstice was yesterday. So we're really in a whole new season now so that you can put this down. So if you started the practice tonight of consciously completing every day of your life, next year on December 22nd, you won't have any completions to do. You'll be up to date. It's like doing housework all the time, right? If you wait till it gets to be a big job, it's a big job. A little bit every day, it's not. Now, the other way to do completions is what's called a ceremonial completion, Monty. And this is for big things in your life. Like why we go to graduations and that kind of thing is you might need something bigger. So I'll tell you something that I completed 3 years and 10 months ago. I made a decision, Monty, that I was going to completely change everything in my eating life. Everything around food, my whole eating life, I needed to change. And I needed to say goodbye to all my old habits, right? You got to let them go. And I was giving up sugar and all forms of flour and all forms of sugar. I didn't know what else I was going to do, but I knew that was going to stop. So I did a ceremonial completion with all of those foods. I had my last supper, Monty.
Wow. You had your personal last supper.
I had my personal last supper. I called all my friends and said, don't call me. I'm having food sex tonight. Don't bother me.
I get it.
All my favorite desserts, the world's best grilled cheese sandwich in the universe. That was my end supper. So this was my ceremony. I was looking at all the foods and I was saying, thank you for many years. We've been friends, but it's not working for me anymore. And we're breaking up. And I did not know how I was going to do this. I didn't know how I was going to change all my habits or drop any weight. I just knew that I had to change it. And I went into the ceremony. Got that? Ceremony. The next day, across my Facebook feed came the exact solution of the whole program that I needed. That was a multidimensional, mental, emotional, behavioral contracts, everything. And so I have been 3 years and 10 months without a drop of sugar or flour. My whole eating life changed. Now I needed to do that ceremonial, not with the food, but I had to do a new ceremony 5 times a day. When I woke up in the morning, I would look myself in the mirror and say, your life with food is changing today. This is what we're going to do. So I would have kind of a quick ceremony with myself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then I would do it at the end of the day, but also at each meal. So this program had us eating 3 meals a day, nothing in between. 5 times a day, I did a ceremony, you guys, because I'm dropping 64 years of eating habits, right? You need to be a little bit more caring. If you're trying to let go of a pattern or a relationship, you might need to do a personal ceremony. Doesn't matter how you do it, just that you do it sincerely. And then after about 4 months, I kept forgetting to do that, Monty. And I realized it's because I don't need to. I've completely put it down. So the no frills 5 minutes a day and the ceremonial completion for things that are bigger in your life. Does anybody have a question about that?
I don't see any questions about that. I see one question that came in that says, why did she have to call back her spirit again? It was because she was having trouble leaving New York.
Yes, she was attached. She was very attached to her New York experience. And that attachment was really blocking her from even being able to finish her packing list. So we had to get her emotionally back, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually back with herself, not with New York. And I had told her, honey, you're not going to lose your friends. And you're certainly all that experience you've gained by your work, that goes with you, right? Wherever you go. So she had to call it back so that she could finish packing. And then she went on to live an amazing life in Austin, met her husband, now has a baby, had a great career. So she was stuck because of the attachments. That's how we usually get stuck. Either we're just unconsciously attached, and I thank that person for asking the question, or we're really stuck in the past and we can't move forward. Okay, you want to learn the no frills one right now?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. 5 minutes is all it takes. So the first thing you do, first step, and this is all in that handout, you guys. So make sure you get it. And if for some reason you can't get it from Monty's site, you can go to my email, jj@jj4insight.com, and just put handout in the subject line and I'll get it to you. jj4insight.com, jj@jj. And all that's on my website. So the first thing is you want to get really clear about what you're completing. So we'll just use the example of today. So today I'm completing all my thoughts, words, and deeds, all my interactions of this day, because the universe, you guys, rewards clarity, specific clarity. So you want to be, this is the no frills day only. So this is what I want to teach now. So I'm completing that conversation. I'm completing that meeting. Like after Monty and I are finished with this project, I'll do a conscious completion on this thing that we did. And you just literally kind of see your day rolling up like a carpet. And in fact, that's what the Middle Easterns talk about lifetimes. They just roll up the carpet and that life is done. So you roll up the carpet of your day and you be thankful for it. And you just literally say, I did the best I could with what I knew, and everything happened in the only way it could have. So you want to repeat those principles to yourself to really get those in. And then you speak out your declaration. I call this day complete. Everything I did, it was complete and it was good enough. Call it complete. And then a good thing to do is stand up if you can, either for at the end of each day, or right now you can just put your hands on your hips or your hands in the air, and you're going to hold that position in the victory position or on hips for 2 minutes. Now we won't actually do the 2 minutes right now. The reason why, this wisdom comes from Amy Cuddy, Cuddy. She has a great TED Talk, and the reference to all of her stuff is in the handout, you guys. You don't have to write it down. It's in the handout. So all the references are there. And Amy is a social scientist and researcher, and she discovered that if you hold the Wonder Woman pose or the Olympic victory pose for 2 minutes, you will actually have a hormonal change. This is a brilliant life hack. Thank you, Amy Cuddy. And what happens is the fight or flight hormones, all that cortisol stuff, right, and adrenaline goes down, and your testosterone goes up. Your I can do this hormone goes up. So you literally come from like running from life or, just stressed by life to, I got this. And I did everything today in the best way I could. So that whole process, I call it the 5-minute process, but it really only takes 2 or 3 minutes. If you're clear on what you want to do, and you literally call back your spirit in those words if you want, I call back my physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual energy from all of the events of today. I did the best I could with what I knew, and so did everybody else. And then you do your stand, and while you're standing for 2 minutes, you can also boost this. You can boost the power of this practice with gratitude. You know how that works. You're big on gratitude, Ronnie. So by just 2 minutes of what are you most grateful for today, and one of my things is to be here right now. And so with gratitude, hormones, intention, and the spiritual combination of all of those, you are activating a powerful physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual action of completion. Anybody have any questions about that? That's the 5-minute no frills version.
Okay, so no, I don't see questions. JJ, but I have a question.
Okay.
And I know some of the people that are on here. And so I know that this is going to come up later. Okay.
Okay.
So I think you know that I struggled with this during one of our sessions as well. The whole everybody's doing the best they could, even if it's yourself, because sometimes it's like we know we could have done something better or differently, but we didn't for whatever reason. How do you come to the conclusion of I did the best I could, or they did the best that they could, when we know that we could have done better or that another person could have done better? And I'm asking this because I had a pouting session. I called one of my friends, Sandy Sanders, and I was talking to her about a situation that I was dealing with, and she goes, they're doing the best that they can. And I'm like, nope, that's not the best that they can do. They can do better. How do we then accept that?
Oh, Monty, thank you for asking that question. And I'm gonna kind of share the scientific method, a little bit about the science behind that. But I'm going to first use an example of a client of mine who said, I absolutely know that I could have had just one glass of wine instead of that whole bottle. I know I could have done that.
Yep.
And then I said to her, well, then why didn't you? So that's it. So remember the 4 qualities: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. We are not the same throughout our day. We wake, you know how some days you've had a great night's sleep, but you still wake up feeling kind of wiped?
Mm-hmm.
So it's in that moment, Monty, that moment that person did what they did. They had X amount of emotional intelligence available to them in that moment. They had X amount in that moment. Now, tomorrow, they might be able to do better. Or yesterday, they might have done better. But in that moment, gosh, I don't know about you guys, but yesterday, nothing I did technologically worked. It was like the stars were against us. Yesterday, there was all kinds of wuju going on in the stars, right? But that was yesterday. Today, I have X amount of physical just vitality. I have X amount of emotional intelligence and emotional control. Maybe something really upset you earlier that day, and they did what they did because they were already upset. Also, you have X amount of mental, conscious awareness, education, experience. Maybe you could do better, but what if they don't have the experience you have? And also X amount of compassion. We as human beings, let's just tell the facts here. When we're frightened, we meaning every single human being, no matter what race, creed, or country you come from, we all get, when we're frightened, we get mean, greedy, and stupid. Stupid. We make really stupid mistakes when we're frightened. I'll give you an example. One of my clients just broke my heart when she said this. She says, oh my gosh, that's so true. She said, I knew when I was walking down the aisle that I shouldn't marry that guy. I knew it. But I was too afraid of being alone.
I sipped tea on that one.
So her fear made her stupid. And 3 years later, they were very mean to each other, went through a terrible divorce. Mean, stupid, and greedy. We see that. So we have to get this, that humans on fear. Remember that old commercial, this is your brain on drugs?
Yes.
Right, with the scrambled eggs. It's like frying your brain. Well, that's your brain on fear. It's mean, stupid, and greedy. So when you are dealing with somebody, you don't know how frightened they are, what has happened in their life in that moment. So
that's fair. I can see that.
And spiritually, they just may not have the perspective that you do. And going back to my client with the wine bottle, the truth is she didn't want to have only 2 glasses. Her wanting the whole bottle completely offloaded her conscious mind. She wanted the whole bottle. Her wantingness in that moment was stronger than her, I know I should do better. Does that help, Monty? Explain that.
It does. And we have some comments and questions in here.
Great.
So I see Juanita is saying, I love this worksheet, very clear and direct and detailed. Miss Wisdom is saying, can we call our spirit back from parents that chose not to parent their children and abandonment and, through abandonment and rejection?
Oh, thank you. I got chills down my back when that came in. So thank you for asking that question. Absolutely. You can call your spirit back from people that are dead. You can call your spirit back from countries. I have some people that are just really attached to another country. They can, or New York, for example. There is nothing that you can't call your spirit back from. In fact, in my experience, you can even call your spirit back from past lives. So when you have the conscious awareness that something is dragging you down, it's taking you away from your personal empowerment in this moment, absolutely, you can do that. And Monty, that's one of my specialties as a life coach, as an intuitive life coach with clairvoyance and energy reading. I can help somebody like even go underneath where they don't even know they're hanging on to something and help them release it. So the answer to that is absolutely you can. And remember that the most important thing is not how you do it, but that you do it with sincere, resolute willingness to let go. And you will be successful. Resolute willingness to and I like to put these 3 phrases together. You guys, this is not in your handout, so you might want to jot this down. I give it up, like to a higher power, to the universe. I'm just giving this up. Mm-hmm. And I let it go. I'm going to let go of all the stories I'm telling myself about this. So that's the thing. If you call your spirit back, but then you keep running the story, you haven't really put it down. So I give it up. I let go of all the stories I'm telling myself, and I put it down and walk away. And
absolutely.
So that's an attitudinal position. Those words can really help.
We have another one that says, how can we call our spirit back from dealing with a heartbreak? And how do you forgive yourself in the process and move on?
Oh, honey. Yeah. Okay, so first of all, with a heartbreak, I think there is a certain amount of time that you need to just be with the heartbreak. You need to be with the feelings. Mm-hmm. So it just like with me with food, it took me 64 years, you guys. Well, it wasn't all that long. But so giving yourself permission to grieve is a highly emotionally intelligent action, but not to wallow. There's a fine line.
So good.
And wallowing.
Yes.
So I am sad. I feel sad is a better way to say that. You don't want to put anything after the word am. I am. You just want to say I am light. I am love. I am strength. I feel sad. I wish the circumstances had been different. That's just being honest. That's owning yourself. It's owning your feelings. Mm-hmm. But wallowing is moving the dial over to victimhood. And it's a fine line, isn't it there? It's like, that's a fine line, but when you're in it, when you're a victim, and most people do. So getting over heartache, I think you need to process it, maybe with a professional, but not with friends where they just want to keep running the story. Remember that the story just digs it in deeper. Feel it, own it, and also find gratitude in it. Every hardship and heartbreak we've ever had has a gift inside of it.
So true. So true.
And if you look for that gift faster than before, it will really help you. And I'll just tell you one of my other personal stories right here is about that. So I had a severe trauma, very severe trauma when I was 5 years old, an assault. And fast forward till I was 33 years old, I was going to therapy again. And I went to this new therapist and I told her the event and she goes, yeah, okay, well that happened. No, oh honey, no commiseration at all. She said, now tell me one of the gifts you've received from that. What do you mean gifts? There's no gifts in something like that. She said, yeah, there is. And you're not leaving here until you tell me one.
Wow.
And I found one. And it was awareness. I had, as a result of that, developed a very heightened awareness physically. I know everything that's going on around me, front, back, side, up, and down. No, I know exactly how many people are walking behind me in the grocery store. I'm always aware. And that awareness really helped me later in my corporate sales career. And she said, okay, that's a good start. And when you come back, I want you to have 10. And I thought, yeah, right. But I came back with 5. She said, I want you to get a little journal. So I get a little dollar store journal, a little kid's journal with a Mickey Mouse face on it, because I thought I was going to have like 5 items. Okay, fast forward another 5 years, you guys. And I was going through personal items and releasing and letting go. And that little journal was almost completely full when I burned it.
Wow.
So the heartbreak, feel it, get some help feeling it if you need it, own it. Don't go into victim. Find the gift, and then you would probably need to do a ceremonial completion on that. Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. JJ, I will say thank you for all of your answers. And the reason why I'm asking some of the questions in the middle is because when we get a lot of them that come in, I can't see them all. So I try to catch them, before they go away.
Okay, great.
So, and I'll let you get back to what you were teaching on. But one more, someone asked me, you talked about, when humans get in fear, that, gets greedy, stupid, and mean. Someone asked you to explain greedy. What you mean by that?
Great. Gosh, these are great questions. Okay, so we all know the feeling of altruism, where I feel altruistic to other people. When I am in fear, it's all about survival. I don't care about anybody else. There is no altruism in fear. So that's the greedy. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That you don't care a flying flip about anybody else's needs when you're really in deep fear. You just want what you need. Your survival in some way has been threatened. And the claws come out, right? Humans are greedy, stupid, and mean. When there is altruism and compassion, can never come from the mind of fear. In fact, Monty, my entire coaching practice is built on Einstein's quote. My whole practice is built on, you cannot solve a problem from the same mind that created it.
Oh.
Well, duh. But we try to do that all the time. And that kind of goes back to your question too, Monty, about they couldn't have done any better than they could. Certainly they could have done better. The mind that did that couldn't have done any differently. Whatever that was.
Whatever that mind was.
Whatever that mind was in that particular moment in time. Couldn't have done any better.
I can see that better because, when you see people and they don't do, certain things that they know better, and then they still made a decision anyway.
Right.
And so to be able to frame it and saying, okay, in the current state of the mind that they were in, that was all that they had in that moment. Right. So I can hear that.
That's exactly right. That is so right. And so one of the ways I talk to myself about it is I'll say, oh gosh, they must be very frightened right now. Or I must be very frightened right now if I'm doing stupid stuff. So then you want to find a way to shift over to the love side of the column. Yeah.
Awesome. I'll take one more question and then I want you to go ahead and be able to move forward.
We're doing good.
Okay. So this next one was, how do we move on and call back from procrastination?
Oh, great. This brings up a terrific point. Okay. One of the things you guys want to do is go to my website, jj4insight.com, and 2 things. You can go to my website and ask for the free gifts. We might as well cover the free gifts right now.
Yes.
So if you go pick up your free gifts from my website, at the bottom of the homepage, there's submit here with just your first name and your email address. And you'll get 2 very detailed handouts on how to transcend emotional triggers. Anybody have emotional triggers? Yeah. So you'll get those 2 handouts, and you'll also get a video on how to do that. So that will help us, generally speaking, so we can change the mind that we're in, right? If we're in a emotional trigger, we're in fear and we are stupid. Don't make any life decisions there. So go to my website, sign in, get those handouts. But you'll also see under the video blog, this was a recent one just for, I think 3 weeks ago, I did bust through procrastination in 8 minutes or less. So it's right there. Now, procrastination is based in fear. That's why we procrastinate. We're either afraid of success, or we're afraid of failure, or we don't know how to go about it. So we're feeling kind of infinitesimal and stupid. And, so what I would do is I would do a ceremony around procrastination. I would do a ceremonial completion. Go watch that video and learn how to break through literally with a timer. In 8 minutes, you can get through any procrastination. It is brilliant, you guys. I do say so myself. This is a brilliant technique. And also, if you go to my website, you'll get my weekly emails. Don't worry, I don't hound you with emails, but I do a Thoughtful Thursday every week of the year with coaching tips, usually 10 minutes or less. Some of them are only 6 minutes long, of coaching tips that will just help you live your life simpler and easier. So procrastination is based in fear. So I would move yourself, do whatever you can to feel good about yourself and drop that fear. The transcending emotional triggers. Something got triggered or you wouldn't be procrastinating. So you need to do two things. You need to transcend the emotional trigger that's inside of you, and then do the technique that's in that video. I hope that helps. Yeah.
Yes.
And definitely go get your free stuff. It's really great stuff. And also there's a resources tab with all kinds of PDFs you can read for free. So anything else before we move on here?
No, let's go.
Let's go. Okay. So you know how to do the 5-minute one. Very simple. And we talk about ceremonial. The main thing is to just really commit to letting go. The deluxe ceremonial completion, I've already told you about, the one with my food. And the main thing is you also know that sometimes you may have to layer a completion, you guys. That's why it took me 5 months to really drop not only my old habits of eating, but also my identity as a disordered eater. But you guys, 5 months on about a 30-year journey with disordered eating, that's a pretty good payoff, don't you think? And so if you don't feel like you've let go from your first ceremony, just do another one and change it up a little bit and just keep going. And then one day you'll just go, I'm done. I'm done with that identity. I'm done with that habit. Definitely changing a pattern. That is one of the cornerstones of my coaching career, is to help you change sabotage patterns, go through transitions, make changes fast and easy. Because of my clairvoyance and energy reading, I can usually cut through things a lot faster than other methods. So you can also do conscious completions for relationships, you guys. So the heartbreak, we talked about that a bit, but sometimes we have to break up with friends because they're just no longer good for us. And again, you want to call your spirit back from them and do your gratitudes about it, and then set your guidelines. Now, sometimes you can't, like maybe there's a relationship at work or something, but you want to change that relationship. Remember, one of the first, the cornerstone of conscious completions is be clear. The universe rewards clarity. So maybe you want to turn a romantic relationship into friends. You need to clear the romantic relationship, set boundaries for the friends. That's a possibility. So friendships, and that also goes to family members that have died, relationships with, some people have relationships with famous people that they need to complete. Just whatever you have, it can be completed with intention, attention, and the process. Anything on anybody screaming for attention?
Yes, I see one that says very true. A lot of growth and healing through heartbreak when you accept accountability, forgive yourself first, and then it allows you to forgive the other party.
Exactly. And we're going to get to that amazing thing of forgiveness in just a moment, because I know we're getting close to the end here, Monty. But when do you do conscious completions? I recommend you do it every day at the end of your day. Just simple, 3 to 5 minutes. Just get in the habit, but you'll need to have a reminder to do it. And in the handout, I have a whole bunch of little notes, conscious completions. You can cut them out, print them out, and hand them around your house. You can also put it in your calendar, right? Those of you who have perpetual calendar, put it in the calendar. So big life events, 2020, I think is going to require ceremonial completion. And anytime you feel like it, something feels needing to complete a big project. I have lots of writer friends and clients, and completing books, just that one's done, go on to the next. So when to do them, whenever you feel like it. And whenever also, you guys, when you start to feel heavy, loaded down with light, remember the backpack, taking that off? It's like, gosh, lately I've been feeling heavy. Just go through a whole bunch of completions. Think of anything you can think of to let go. So let's talk about integrating this as a habit. It takes 66 days to integrate a habit for most people, but can take up to 254 days. So set yourself up for this. Get a buddy. Find somebody in your life who says, I want to do this conscious completion thing, and I want to text you and say, I've done it, and get on board for it, because this is one of the healthiest habits and the most self-loving habit you can do for your whole life. And it literally just takes 5 minutes. But I want to talk about the most important reason for doing this. Forgiveness. Forgiveness. This is the superpower, you guys. This is the superpower inside those two principles that your viewer referred to. When you have a heartbreak, you can come from forgiveness, forgiving them and you. Inside of the two principles, everything happened in the only way it could have. And everyone concerned did the best they could with what they knew and had available to them in that moment. Inside of that is the gold of forgiveness. The essence of forgiveness is right smack in the middle of that. And of everything that I teach in 30 years on a spiritual path, 24 years of coaching, I can tell you that there is one superpower practice, and that is the practice of forgiveness. And some things are hard to forgive. And if you need some help with forgiveness, that's one of the things I do. I saw a video with a man who, when he was 10 years old, he was in World War II. He was in the concentration camps, his whole family. He was the only one that came out alive. And he started forgiving. He said, I can't forgive Hitler, but I'll start with one of the guards. I'll start with one of them, and I'll start with the little Hitlers, and I'll work my way up. And then when he got there with his dedicated spiritual path of forgiving, and everybody does it in their own way, I do have a document on forgiveness in my resources tab you might want to look at. He said, it wasn't until I could forgive Hitler that I actually left the concentration camp. And he was 45 years old then. He was released at age 10, but it wasn't until he was 45 that he could forgive. So this practice has inside of it, conscious completion, the gem and the preciousness of forgiveness. So I hope you can consciously set yourself up for a great 2021 and a letting go of 2020. This has been great, Monty. We have a little more time if there's more questions. That's basically it. And all my information, I think my website and everything is on your site.
I see some people saying thank you so much. Great ideas. Another woman is saying, Juanita is saying, I've been feeling very heavy lately. So yeah, that's not uncommon. And I think that how I'd love to end this is you do such a great job with, helping to bring in the light, and I think that's going to be an important, someone else said this has been fabulous. So thank you. Bringing in the light, because I think that is something that is so important that we need, especially right now, because even though we are having a conscious completion of 2020, we are still in the midst of the craziness that's happening in the world, right? Yes. So carrying that emotion of completion and then still living, in the middle of this.
That's the everyday. That's where we get into the everyday thing. I'm completing my relationship with COVID today. Tomorrow I will live the COVID world as I have to. So I will, if you'd like me to, I'll end with a little bit of bringing in the light. If I can just share some options available for you to take advantage of my work.
Please do. Yeah.
Go get your free stuff on my website, jj4insight.com. And I also have, and this is a kind of a sale price, special price, and it's active through Groundhog's Day till February 2nd. Anybody who books a session by February 2nd, whether they get the session or not, you can do the Jumpstart 2021 Strong with a 3-session package, and all my sessions are 90 minutes. And Monty will tell you they're packed. You get a lot of stuff. And it's all, I connect with your guides. It's tailor-made for you so that what you need to complete, patterns, whatever, we hone in on that as fast as we can. So 3 sessions for $537, and you can pay that in one big sum or 3. And then just kind of check it out. Single session would normally be $195 for $167. And you can contact me via email or my phone number, and just make sure you all know my phone number on all my materials is a landline. There's no texting there. So I'd love to hear from you. And let's do that, Monty. We'll just kind of, if everybody would just take a moment to take in a deep breath and put your hands on your heart. And let's think about 2020. Let's just do a conscious completion with this year, which had so many surprises and heartaches and violence and death. And yeah, we know the list. And you know what? Everyone did the best they could with what they knew, including our governments and the world governments. And everything happened in the only way it could have. And now I would have you all say this to yourself, out loud or silently. I deserve to be free. To be free of the past.
To be free of the past.
Which I cannot change.
I
deserve joy.
I deserve joy.
I deserve peace.
I deserve peace.
And I deserve to feel light and lighthearted.
And I deserve to feel light and lighthearted.
And it is the light's mission for me to live in loving.
And it is the light's mission for me to live in loving.
And we can only really be loving in the moment, right? Back in the past or in the future, we're in our heads. We're not in our hearts. So just all of us that are together tonight, let's just see our collective heart opening. And an acquaintance of mine here in Bellingham calls spirit, God, whatever you want to call it, she calls it Big Sweetie. So I just want to call the Big Sweetie to help us right now.
That's so funny. That is so funny.
It's not sacrilegious. It's just loving. It's like, Big Sweetie, help us put down all of the shock, the trauma. Put it down. Let it go and give it up. The shock, the trauma, the disappointments, the fears, the uncertainty, the bucket loads of anxiety. Let's put it down right now, because everything happened in the only way it could have. And I and everyone concerned did the best we could with what we knew in that moment, because you and I deserve to be free. And when you put your head on your pillow tonight, you guys, I hope you have a chance to do your conscious completions and hug yourself and claim that you are loved, lovable, and loving, and you absolutely deserve to take off that backpack of the day, go to sleep in the now, and wake up feeling good, that you're strong and you can do this. Oh, one more video I want you to go see. Make sure you visit my video blog and go look at the one that says the 8 most important minutes of your life. The 8 most important minutes of your life. And that talks about how to start your day. Today we talked about how to end your day. Anything else, Monty?
I think that's it. JJ, thank you so much for being here, for your presence, and for what you had to share about consciously completing not only 2020, but every day.
Every day.
Every day.
And every event and all those weird things and things you wish you had done differently to complete them? This is a good thing for letting go of regrets.
Oh, good. Yeah, because so many people have them and they mount on and they mount on
Yeah.
and they mount on. And then the next thing you know, the heaviness, when we're overthinking and what should I have done and what could I have done? And that is a good point. I think that, I'm going to be doing some more things into getting into the acceptance part because, of when everyone did the best that they could, because I'm like,
In that moment,
But
Mommy,
yeah,
that's all they had available.
That
That moment.
Mm-hmm.
And people are very stupid when they're frightened. And yes, the other thing, it helps you with regrets, but this will also kind of calm down that shoulda, coulda thinking. If you really get those two principles integrated into your life, you guys, you go, there's no sense in coulda, shoulda. I did all I could in that moment. That's just all there is to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know what regret and shoulda, coulda does? It dumps guilt on, remember that subconscious picture? Yes. Oh my gosh, you guys. The last thing you want hanging out, I got to show you one more time. Mostly down here, a whole bunch of guilt, tremendous amount of guilt. And that is the most toxic emotion we have. Forgiveness sets us free and guilt buries us. Buries us. It buries your creativity, your resourcefulness, your openness to grace. Guilt is the most toxic thing, and that's one of the cornerstones of my work as well, is helping people drop the guilt garments and get present so that you can really fly. And just my blessings to all of you for a great new year and reminding you that you deserve to be free. And this is one way to get free.
Awesome. And I want to encourage you all again to head on over to JJ for Insight. Get access to their free resources. There's lots and lots and lots of them. And also, if you feel led, book a session. Certainly I did many times.
4 years ago. And one session, 3 sessions, just lean into it. And I forgot to say, everything comes with a 35-minute free information call. So you just call me up. We set up a time and just chat. So you get to know me and feel if it's right for you. Everything always starts with a free information discovery call. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, JJ. Thank you for
inviting me here. This is such a fun platform. Thank you, everybody out there in YouTube and Facebook land.
Thank you, everyone. And as we end this, I want to also encourage you all, if you have not yet gone to the YouTube station, Mani Amandla's Total Life Bonus, go there and subscribe. We're continuing to bring amazing guests like JJ to you so that you can get all the information and kind of tap into my world. You'll kind of see, some of the people that I am connected to, and I am so blessed to be connected to all of them. JJ, as I said, helped me through some really, really traumatic events. And here I am. Right?
And here you are.
Here I am.
Shining your light, girl.
Yes.
Really shining.
Oh, thank you. So,
blessings to everybody.
Yes. Take care, everyone. We'll see you here all on the other side. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Someone said, I love you, Mani. I love you too, whoever you are.